Do you remember how you first came up with that riff? Was that something that had been kicking around for a while, or did you just come up with it in practice one day?
Yeah, I mean that one came together quite quickly, and it was one of the later songs of Silent Alarm in terms of when it appeared. So we were, from my memory, we were like um, we were kind of a functional band by that time. I don't know if we had a record deal or something, but we were doing like gigs, and I think we were doing gigs like kind of beyond London as well. Um, so yeah, it was probably, yeah, I mean at least 2003. It might have been what, like kind of quite far into 2004, and Kelly just kind of, because it's a dual guitar riff. It's not just my riff, and Kelly just came to me like before we went on, like before sound check or something, and said, "Oh, I've got this riff. Can you write a counter riff to it?" And he just started playing his part. Um, and yeah, that's always come very naturally to me, doing things like that. And yeah, within a few minutes, I was kind of doing my part, and we were just sitting there with our kind of unplugged electric guitars, as we often were at the time. Yeah, and yeah, it was kind of done in a few minutes. It was quite easy, like, not to kind of sound like arrogant or anything, but like sometimes, I don't know, like the best things do come together quite easily and quite quickly for us. I've found, like, you, you can just immediately, or I can just immediately hear, like, okay, yeah, this is where this needs to go in my head before I've even touched the guitar, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
just a few minutes of transposing what's in my head to the guitar. Yeah, and then it's there, and then we took it to Matt and Gordon, and the rest of it kind of fleshed out quite quickly after that. Um, yeah, I mean, I do remember. I think we've probably told this story before, but yeah, when we went to record it, the final version for the album, and we were working with Paul, and he was quite adamant about changing the structure of the song.
Really?
The kind of the pre-chorus section in particular, where there's like a little break, and the time
Mm.
signature changes. Um, he didn't like that bit, and he wanted to change that. Um, and we were generally, especially because we had like a level of respect for him, like kind of happy to be led by him. But that one, everyone was quite like, nah, like we really want to keep it this way, and we kind of fought about it, but ultimately stood our ground on that one. But yeah, I remember that was kind of one of the rare moments, I think, where we were like, no, like, we're doing this our way, like, so. That's the end of the
Yeah,
story. But
I can't. Yeah,
so
I
yeah,
can't
but that's
imagine that
that's
song without that.
yeah, I think it's quite a kind of key moment of the song, and
Just
and that math rock aspect was still quite ingrained in us. I think, I don't think we wanted to. It felt like that was part of our roots. And even though we were going in this kind of like dancier, kind of almost I don't, yeah, like kind of dancier direction. We still wanted to kind of retain this nod to where we had come from as well, and yeah, like I don't know, to make it like interesting, so it wasn't just like, okay, this is like a pure guitar pop straightforward song. Like there are little kind of quirky moments, I guess, for want of a better phrase.
Yeah, I mean that stop start element of Helicopter, and indeed a lot of the record. That stop-start rhythmic nature, I feel, is such like an integral part of the record. I just can't imagine hearing that song without it. Just a very simple question on that song, Russell. I don't know if you've ever talked about this publicly before, and I don't know who's responsible in the band for titling the songs. Where does the title Helicopter come from?
So yeah, I don't know. Like we've it's not something we've discussed as a band either then or at the time. Yeah, quite often, Kelly will give songs titles that don't seem to have any obvious correlation with the lyrical content. Um, so I don't know. I'd only be guessing. Like it might be some kind of imagery in his head, or some kind of sonic connection. I mean, I've always liked that. Like both for us and for other artists, where like a song, the title isn't it's the refrain of the chorus or something obvious like that. I kind of I yeah, I think it's quite powerful having like a non-associated noun
Hmm.
as a song title, because it instantly creates some kind of feeling, like before you've even heard it, and then when you do hear it, and it might not necessarily directly correlate, it still kind of um I don't know. It still kind of produces something like aside
Yeah.
from the lyrics. So yeah, I've always been a fan of when kind of song titles do that.